Hello, Future Rossies and Pre-Med Explorers. This is Milena Garcia, your host for Ross University Checking the Pulse, a pre-med podcast. This is our mini podcast featuring facts and information about our medical program, insights from current students, and tips from practicing physicians. Each week, this podcast will be broken down in small episodes, focusing on one aspect of our program, also having guests talk about their own experiences as students and as doctors. Ross University students have the opportunity to participate in more than 40 clubs and organizations. No matter what your interest is, likely there is a group of like-minded students. In this episode, we will talk about the Surgery Interest Group. The SIG strives to strengthen the basic skills required to prepare our students for their surgical rounds. My guests today are Matthew Pace and Stephen Stalker. Welcome back, Future Rossies. Thanks for joining us again. This week, we're going to be continuing our conversations with the different student clubs. And joining us today is the president and the vice president for the Surgery Interest Group, also known as SIG. Let's have a moment to introduce you to the team.
Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Matt Pace. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm the president of the Surgery Club. I'm the fifth semester, so I've been here for almost 2 years. Loving it, and just happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Stephen?
Hi, everyone. Again, thanks for having me. My name is Stephen Stalker. I'm currently a 5C student here at Ross. I graduated from the University of Houston in Texas. And, like so many of the people that come to join this club, I'm also looking to do a career in surgery, ultimately.
And Matt, what is the Surgery Interest Group?
So Surgery Interest Group, also known as SIG, also known as Surgery Club, lots of names. We are a group of students and one of the larger groups or clubs at the school. Group of students interested, of course, in a surgical residency. And so our main goal, especially me and Stephen, as we're the heads of the club, is we try to prepare students both in skills, but also as an applicant for surgical residency. And the main 3 steps we try to focus on are hands-on training, or 4, I should say, hands-on training, how to achieve a good step 1 score, that's very important, how to be successful during your clinical rotations, and then, of course, how to be a more competitive applicant when you apply to surgery. And we do that by offering certain events during the semester for our students.
What kind of events do you offer to strengthen basic surgical skills, Stephen?
Well, we offer quite a few hands-on labs, so it's like surgical labs. We also do a pretty much like a monthly journal where we have research articles come in, and we'll have students, second year, third year, fourth year, even present these research articles. That is to get essentially all the students comfortable with research and presenting research, which ultimately becomes very important as you progress in your medical career. We also have a lot of guest speakers, and those are from like all levels of the pipeline. So we have individuals coming in that are attendings, individuals that have gone to Ross and are in surgical residencies, as well as third year, fourth year, people like students further into the pipeline, so they can give us information on what it's like.
You mentioned the surgical labs. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Sure. Again, that's like one of the biggest things that attracts students to our club. The 2 biggest ones we offer are our knot tying lab, which is pretty much what it sounds like. Then we have our suture lab. So how that works is we have facilitators that will come in and then just kind of demonstrate to the students how to do this. And then we as the students will work on honing these skills hands-on so that we can practice, and that's going to help you, again, further along in your career, because these are things you essentially have to know even if you decide not to go into surgery. You're going to have to know how to suture, how to place IVs, how to do knot tying. Very important stuff.
And Matt, as the president of the club, what are your plans for the future?
So I gotta say, as president, it's probably the most exciting part is working on the future. Currently, we're working on, so we have those labs that Stephen touched on, the knot tying suture labs, but we're also working on offering an IV lab. So people can come in, we'll have a couple of different cadaver arms basically, and they can work on those and try to get IVs. Also, we are, as clubs at RUS, typically they are only in the medical sciences. What that means, offered in the medical sciences. What that means is the first 2 years of med school. So the second 2 years of med school, there's not really any clubs or organizations like that. You have a Facebook group and you can collaborate like that with people. But so what we're trying to do as a surgery club is extend it from medical sciences to the clinical sciences. That way, you will have, as you transition over, you'll have a family and a safety net to fall into, and have people that will be able to help you work through that process, because it is a transition going from the island to the U.S. in a hospital setting. So we're hoping that we can make that work for everyone, so we can have that safety net.
And why RUS? Stephen, we'll go with you first.
Okay. I would just say I like many other people at RUS, and I would just say that I was a non-traditional student. Like me personally, I didn't have the best GPA maybe that I was capable of getting. I personally was worked full time, paid for my education, things like that. And so like as I got older and decided on what I wanted to do as a career path, I had applied to schools in my state in Texas, and the process is it is what it is. So it's really demanding. You have to kind of like wait for the results, and so I did not get in that year, and I was planning on applying a second year. But I decided in my heart of hearts that I really was ready for the challenge and the opportunity. So I applied to RUS, and I was given an opportunity and flew to the island. I want to say 3 weeks after my interview, and the rest is history. Never been happier.
As a little kid, I remember in like third grade it was, when they used to vote like who would be most likely to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. Funny enough, I was in third grade and they voted me most likely to become a doctor, which I thought was hilarious. I didn't expect that, obviously. And I did not want to be a doctor growing up, in fact. My dad was a physician. He worked in internal medicine, and he struggled a long time financially, actually. And it affected me as a kid. And so when I started college, I actually started college doing a finance major. And I'll tell you what, man, it was boring. So I quickly stopped doing that major and switched to something else. And during that time, I had a summer off and I started shadowing different careers. I did business, I did law, and I did other things like that. And then also, I reluctantly started shadowing a doctor. And funny enough, I found out that it was something that I absolutely loved and was passionate about, and I had to give it a second chance. And that's when I soon came and I met this surgeon that I worked with, a general surgeon, and I absolutely loved it to death. And so when I started to apply for med schools, I actually met a friend of mine, or had a friend of mine who went to RUS, and he mentioned it to me, and I thought, that'd be an interesting idea. And I applied to a bunch of schools and I didn't get in. I struggled at the beginning of college, and my MCAT score wasn't the best. And so when RUS gave me the opportunity to go to med school, I absolutely took it. And honestly, I can tell you now that I am so grateful to RUS for giving me the opportunity to fulfill a dream that I didn't know I had until I was an adult. So I appreciate that.
And we are 100% behind both of you. Future Dr. Stalker, Future Dr. Pace, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your time. And to everybody else listening, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to RUS University Checking the Pulse, a pre-med podcast. This is Milena Garcia, your host. This podcast is made for you, so let me know what topics you want us to cover on future episodes. You can send me your comments, feedbacks, and requests to mgarcia@rusu.edu. Definitely follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at RUS Med School, or on Facebook. If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, I am working my way to 5 stars, so remember to send me your comments and let me know your ideas. If you're on Spotify, remember to click on the follow button to get our future episodes. All right, see you future Rossies and Pre-Med Explorers next week.
Da 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 da